Welcome back, everyone. We are here today with our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend, episode 2032. If you're following along with today's questions, head on over to stephencabral.com/2032. And just like yesterday, we are going to be answering 6 more of our community's questions. Yesterday, episode 2031, we went through all sorts of different health issues. Gas and bloating. We went through skin rashes, white spots on the skin, how to lower testosterone in women naturally if needed. We also went over a literal pain in the neck. And I think we had one more question as well on nail-based fungus. So definitely check that out. Actually, we went over 24-hour fasting for women as well. So definitely check that out. That was episode 2031. Looking forward to any questions that come my way on episode 2032 today. Again, I never look at the questions ahead of time, so I'm just opening up the document right now, and I see our first question. And that first question is from Anonymous. Anonymous says, "Hi, Dr. Brawl. I've had a bit of an embarrassing question, and I feel very uncomfortable discussing this with the people I know, so really hoping you can help me. How can you tell the difference between brown vaginal discharge, old blood, and runny stool on your hygienic pad? I have some bowel issues, so sometimes when I pass gas, a little bit of stool comes out and ends up on the pad. And when I wear tight pants and sit all day, the pad can move. So the stool ends up a bit higher, where your vaginal discharge usually is. I want to be mindful of brown discharge too, because I have some hormonal problems. Anyway, I feel super embarrassed about asking this question, so I hope you don't mind answering. Thanks so much in advance for your answer. I really appreciate it." All right, first of all, never feel embarrassed about asking any question. It's completely anonymous anyways, and I'm sure that this is going to help someone else as well, so no worries at all. All right, so let's break this down. Well, there's 2 things. The first and foremost I want to say is this, is that you should not be dealing with any of the bowel issues you're dealing with right now. We would love to help you with this. I can also recommend you to many of our level 2 integrative health practitioners, and you want to run one specific lab, even if you don't run any of the other labs, and it's called the Bacteria and Parasite Stool Test. Okay, it's at eco.life, and you can just go to eco.life/labs, click on the stool test. You want to run that. You want to see what is going on inside of those intestines. And if you can, run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test as well, which is a urine test. Okay, but let's just put that aside and let's get to your question. So what I would say is this, there is a difference, right? You can tell a difference, but I do understand that the older blood, when you are literally shedding the lining from inside of the body, it's coming out, and sometimes it's coming out as clumps. Sometimes it's coming out as thinner-based fluid for vaginal discharge during your menstrual cycle, and maybe you're having a difficult time, again, differentiating from stool. So what I can tell you is this, is that you are most likely having some accidental stool discharge during the month. And I believe that you're going to be able to say, okay, this typically looks like this, and during my menstrual cycle, during my period, it looks like this. Now, the other part I would ask you, because I don't know that I fully understand the question. So one is I would love to clear up these the bowel-based issues, but I would say is, why does it matter? That's because I'm just not getting it. That's what I don't understand. So you're trying to differentiate between the two, but I'm asking, why do you even need to differentiate between the two? So in my opinion, you clear up the bowel-based issues, and then you just have normal vaginal discharge during the month. Now, I know there's some hormonal problems. So to me, again, you'd want to look deeper into this with a health coach or integrative health practitioner, because you want to run that stress hormones, mood, metabolism test too. I think there's a lot more going on, and I think it goes way beyond what you're asking in this question, because you shouldn't have to deal with hormonal problems, nor should you have to deal with the looser stool as well. And then just one more caution, you didn't ask for my advice on this, but I'm going to give my advice anyways, is you have to be careful that your stool is not ending up near your vagina, because that bacteria could then cause vaginal-based issues as well. And we certainly don't want that, like bacterial vaginosis, okay? So there's a lot there. I might not have even read your question correctly. Always write back in if I can help to a greater degree. All right. Mark's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. What are your thoughts on hydrogen-rich water? Are the health claims around it true? And do you think a hydrogen water maker would be a good investment for one's health? Thank you in advance for your advice. All right, Mark, couple things. I've looked into hydrogen water. It looks like there's some potential benefit. A lot of times for athletes, I actually saw some research on it in terms of, I believe it was radiation or chemotherapy and helping people with fatigue. There was another one on the liver. So there seems to be some pretty good preliminary research on it. There doesn't seem to be big downsides. I will tell you though, whenever you overdo hydrogen, so hydrogen could be a great, meaning like if we're infusing hydrogen molecules inside of water, it could help as a potential antioxidant and potential anti-inflammatory as a squelcher of free radicals. But remember, anything that can be good can also be overdone. And when you overdo even something like a hydrogen peroxide-based treatment, you actually create more of a corrosive oxidative process in the body. So my thinking would be this. I don't know that you need to invest in a couple $1,000 hydrogen water maker. Maybe you start with the hydrogen tablets that you drop into water to see if you get benefit from that. And then maybe you just use them when you need a little pick-me-up. For one, I don't know that we need to start adding hydrogen to our water. I'm not there yet. I don't like you to be the guinea pig. I don't want myself to be the guinea pig. So I'd be a little bit cautious here. And then also people are getting benefit like around workouts and exercise. The only question I have is we've already seen that we don't want to add a ton of antioxidants from like high level vitamin C directly after a workout because it could limit our recovery ability at a tissue level. So again, that's why I want to be a little cautious. I'm open to it. I've read the research. The research looks pretty good. I'm just not ready to jump on it yet, but that doesn't mean that you can't give it a shot. All right. Michelle's up next. Hi. I know you recommend being dairy-free. I am for the most part. I really like Greek yogurt and seem to tolerate it well. What are your thoughts on yogurt? You know, I don't have too much of an issue with yogurt, meaning like if you have to have dairy. So if you're thinking about having dairy, I think the benefits can be there for a yogurt, for a kefir drink, for a lassi-based drink like they have over in India, or a quark, which is like a liquid yogurt. So not a huge, the thing is too, it's like, okay, well, when are we having these things? Are we having them first thing in the morning? Do we really want to put these things in our body first thing in the morning? I don't know. You know, it's like, it's certainly harder to digest. It could be great in terms of probiotics. It's definitely an anabolic based food. So not the best for a kapha, but certainly could be better for maybe a vata that could use a little bit more of an anabolic food. So, but the thing is, if you don't have yogurt, you're still going to be a healthy human being. So that's kind of how I look at it. Like, okay, is it a fruit or is it a vegetable? Those are my criteria for like fruits and vegetables are your top layer of what you should be having along with water. And then after that, you're saying, okay, let me look at other clean sources of fiber or maybe nuts and beans, legumes, things like that. And then we can look at, okay, what are we looking after that? Some protein. This would kind of fall into both the protein and fat category, unless you went with a lower fat. I'm not saying you should, but it's something to look at. So again, I don't really have that big of an issue with yogurt as long as you don't have a food sensitivity to it. The only way that you would know is to run a food sensitivity test from an IgD perspective. Don't go by bloating and gas alone. That is a digestive issue, not a food sensitivity issue. So go to equa.life/labs, check out the food sensitivity. And if you're not sensitive to it, I would go, in my opinion, I would do a goat milk yogurt, or I would do a sheep-based yogurt rather than cow. And I think you're then staving off even more sensitivities and inflammation. So that's how I would look at it. But certainly, I'm not going to fault anyone if they're in great health and they don't have a sensitivity and they want to have some, Greek yogurt or sheep or goat-based yogurt. Just make sure, too, that it's from a pastured-based animal or grass-fed if it's a bovine, if it's a cow, so that you're getting good quality. All right, Tim's up. Tim says, hey, Dr. Ball, love your podcasts. and love your products. Thank you for all your time and effort. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you. My question is, does diet tonic water have any negative effects on the body? I like to drink one in my shaker cup in the morning mixed with lemon. I just like the taste and a change from regular water. Is this okay or is it not good for me? All right, this is a great question. You know what? I've never gotten this question on tonic water or diet tonic water. And I'll tell you this, that I actually looked into tonic water over the pandemic because what I can tell you is that tonic water was traditionally used for hundreds, if not thousands of years because it had a natural anti-malarial in it in quinine. So for malaria, this would be a product that people would use. And this actually went for a lot of parasite-based issues. Okay, so it's been used for a long time. So I don't have a huge issue with tonic water. You don't want to overdo it, that's for sure. But overdoing it would be having like 4 or 6 a day. So what's the issue though with a diet tonic water? A lot of times they're adding fake sugar to it, so you have to look at that. And they're adding natural flavors that might not be from organic extracts that we use. They might be from like a monosodium glutamate that we've spoken about before. They might use things like saccharin. They might use, what else? Aspartame. They may use Splenda to give it some flavor. So you just have to check what's in it. I mean, literally, if we're talking about like just tonic water, it's a different story. And I don't have too much of an issue with that, especially if you're just doing it like once a day. So that would be my take. Without a specific like ingredient list, I can't give you the full spec on that, but it's actually better. I don't like recommending just like one product per se. Like when people ask, I like you to know why, the why behind it. So now you can look at a half a dozen different tonic waters or diet tonic waters and say, oh, this one's not good because this one has aspartame or this one has X, Y, and Z, and so you'll find the right one for you. So hopefully that's helpful. Simon is up next. For about 2 years, I've been getting red swollen sores on my lip and penis, always in the same place, that a bacterial test has shown to be overgrowth of Staphylococcus. They typically flare up at the same time, and usually when I get a cold or am run down. Can you recommend anything to rid myself of this overgrowth permanently or reduce the frequency and magnitude of outbreaks? I tried using antibacterial washes consistently for a fortnight, but it doesn't seem to have done the job. I'd love your thoughts. Okay. Now, again, I can't give you medical advice, right? I'm simply reading 5 sentences on a podcast. Can't give you medical advice or treatment protocols. I have difficulty believing that this is just bacterial. And again, not a diagnosis, not saying a medical doctor's wrong, and I believe you very well could have Staphylococcus, right? A bacteria based there. Not saying that you don't, right? However, you get a flare-up when you get a cold or you get run down. I mean, this sounds to me like a herpes-based virus. Not saying you have a herpes-based virus, and if a doctor told you you have a, gram-positive bacteria in something like Staphylococcus, I understand it. However, that bacteria may always be there. You might have that, yes, but do you also have a herpes-based virus of why this is happening? And so for me, I would say, okay, even if this person doesn't, why don't we do this? And we're going to go on an antiviral-based protocol. And I have a whole podcast dedicated to that called How to Destroy a Virus. I have no idea why. That was a long time ago. Let's find that podcast for you, though. And let's go to stevencabral.com/podcasts. 760. How to Destroy Viruses, Herpes, Shingles, and Cold Sores. Go to, you know what the problem, though, with this is? I had to take away all of the supplement links on this podcast page because of FTC and FDA regulations. So I wrote, though, 4 steps to immune recovery: boost immunity, stop the replication, kill the virus, recover from the damage. So I do list all of the things on the show, but I just can't list them on a webpage. I know it's crazy. Listen, don't even get me started with we're trying to help people here, right? We're literally trying to help people, and we can't list the things. And the majority from the show were not from Equilife. I mean, that's like, I'm talking about things like colloidal silver and, all sorts of great things. But anyway, they're all there on the show. Go to stephencabral.com/760. It's just frustrating that I'm not able to give people the easiest, most direct way and just add the links there. But anyway, I digress. All right. Last question of the day is from Anonymous. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Many, many thanks for all you do. Sorry, one more thing. Simon, if it is bacterial-based, then it should respond to antibacterials. It should respond to, if you do something like the CBO protocol, if it's internal. So it's very strange, right? Strange that would be the case. All right, Anonymous is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Many, many thanks for all you do. I have a question about my 18-year-old daughter. She has a little history. At around 14, she started restricting her diet for sport. That's the short version. During that time, she started her period. Very heavy periods. It led to anemia, an iron transfusion, and followed by a blood transfusion. She now is sadly on a birth control pill. She still has irregular periods and cramps. I took her for her yearly checkup at her regular doc, and her non-fasting cholesterol came back high. She is a very active girl. Competitive cheerleader, tumbling, loves running and working out, and honestly eats pretty healthy. She also suffers from anxiety. Are there any supplements that can help? Please help with some direction, how I can help get her back on track. Endless thanks. All right, Anonymous, happy to help. Honestly, there's no way you should be worrying about your cholesterol levels on a non-fasting cholesterol test. Your doctor should tell you that. I mean, that's the trouble with conventional medicine. The only way we validate cholesterol levels is by taking your cholesterol between 8 and 10 in the morning, okay, anytime, on a fasted 12-hour minimum fast. Okay. If not, you can be picking up cholesterol from food. Let me give you an example. Typically, you're pretty healthy, but you have some chicken or you have some red meat or whatever at lunch. Okay. There's cholesterol in that. 2 hours later, you go to have your blood work. The cholesterol is in your bloodstream. It picks up the cholesterol from the food, not just natural cholesterol production from the body. All right. So really, really important that we don't scare. I just want to make sure you don't scare yourself, that you're not worried for your daughter. If you want a true cholesterol reading, it has to be 12-hour fasted overnight between 8 and 10 in the morning. Okay. That's going to give you your true cholesterol reading. Besides that, honestly, there's no need to start supplementing for cholesterol that isn't even truly high. Now, in my opinion, though, you should run the, at minimum, stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test for your daughter to figure out what is going on with her hormones. Even though she's on birth control, she can still run this lab. You want to look at cortisol. You want to look at estrogen dominance. You want to look at testosterone levels. You want to look at insulin, hemoglobin A1C, vitamin D, cortisol throughout the day. And I think I already mentioned thyroid. You want to look at all of those to look at the full picture. No doubt about it. Work with an integrative health practitioner level 2, or work with our team over at Equa.life, or you can even just run the lab over there, and it comes with a consultation. So my best to you and your family. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. My best to you and your family as well. Thank you so much for your support of the Cabral concept. It means the world to me. We are 2,032 shows in and getting stronger each and every week thanks to you. So again, appreciate your reviews, your support, your subscribes to the show, and your shares. Have an amazing rest of the weekend, and I'll talk with you tomorrow on our Mindset and Motivation Monday.